So today we're going to be talking to you about a very exciting new launch.
And we're going to be splitting the stage a little bit, talking about the intrinsic and extrinsic health of the skin, but also about our newest product, the DEJ Daily Boosting Serum. So I'm going to first start it off with Dr. Sophie Starter.
When we're talking about cellular aging and how our skin cells age, we have both intrinsic and extrinsic factors that affect how that happens in the skin. And I'm going to talk to you today about some data and research behind the DEJ Daily Boosting Serum and how it supports both factors. So when we have fatigued skin, what does that look like? It looks dull, it feels dry, dehydrated, and it lacks that firmness in the skin. Now, when we want to combat that, we really want to be thinking about how we can boost energy, because when we're tired, we need more energy, right? And increasing cellular energy is something that, until now, I've never heard of being possible within skincare. So the DEJ Daily Boosting Serum is a topical that can be applied twice daily that helps to boost cellular energy. And what does a more energetic cell look like? It behaves more youthfully. And the properties of youthful skin are that it's brighter, it's firmer, it's less lined and wrinkled, it's more hydrated, that it heals better. And that's certainly something that I've experienced. And we're also showing that it slows cellular aging through the extrinsic, both extrinsic and intrinsic factors. So by having within it a very comprehensive antioxidant protection, it's going to reduce the effect of glycation on the skin, which is both, we'll talk through a bit about what glycation is and how actually, of course, glycation is to do with sugar binding to proteins, but it's also exacerbated by other environmental impacts. So what I'll be talking through is how the ingredients in this product help to boost mitochondrial energy, why that's important to skin aging, and how it helps to change the skin. So, sunflower sprout technology, and one thing I've loved about Revision since I was introduced to the brand a few years ago now is its commitment to finding new innovative ingredients and to research. So sunflower sprout technology was actually discovered in a neurology capacity, and Revision had cottoned on that there was a connection between the brain and the skin and how it functions. And so sunflower sprout technology is using sunflower sprouts and basically germinating them. And what's been found is that this can increase the cell's energy levels by boosting ATP, boosting mitochondrial function, and helping to counteract the impact of glycation on the skin. Very innovative and novel. So intrinsic aging. This is what would happen to our skin if we didn't go outside, didn't live. You know, if you sat in a room for your whole life, you would still age. But extrinsic aging is what happens due to the environment and the lifestyle we live. So this can be down to our diets. It can be down to how much time we spend into the sun, how well we protect our skin from those factors, pollution, all of these things that we do to our skin through our lifestyle. And you can see here on this photo the fatigued skin and how revived and radiant skin looks brighter. So it's when we have there's a great photo which was published in a case study in a journal of a pair of twins one of whom had worked indoors for her whole life and one of whom had worked outdoors for her whole life, and they were in their 50s. And the 50-year-old twin still looks aged. She doesn't look how she did in her 20s, but the twin who's worked in an outdoor environment has more pigmentation, more fine lines and wrinkles, less radiance. The skin is visibly less firm, and it looks just that leathery texture. The texture's just not as nice. Now, this is a really interesting slide, and it shows what happens to cellular ATP levels as we age. Now, mitochondrial dysfunction is something that was actually first identified in the 50s as a contributor to how skin ages. And there's a really good paper that was published, I think it's 2013, called The 9 Hallmarks of Aging. And in that, again, mitochondrial dysfunction is mentioned as one of those 9 key hallmarks. And we all know within aesthetics what aged skin looks like. We all know the things that we treat, the things that we see on our patient's skin. But actually understanding why that happens, I think, is the next boundary to getting our patients better results, really working on a cellular level to combat what's happening there, why those patients are aging, rather than just fixing it. And so this shows, as you can see, that over time, the cellular ATP levels are dropping consistently. And this is contributing to what we're all treating every day in our clinics. So, AGEs and glycation. So glycation is a process that's happening all the time in our skin. It's when sugars are binding to the proteins and also to the lipids in our skin. And this makes them more brittle, it makes them more fragile, they'll snap. You get increased a decrease in sort of the skin's ability to relax. It kind of makes it more breakable if you put too much traction through it. You get more fine lines and wrinkles. It's duller. And that's because of these AGEs. These are these complexes of the protein and the sugars. And sure, high sugar diets are a contributing factor to it, but we also know that UV exposure makes glycation worse. So it's actually a combination of those factors. And genetics contribute, because actually we're all differently susceptible to different forms of injury to our skin. So it's actually also genetically determined how susceptible we all are to glycation. So we know that the AGEs in the skin make us age more rapidly. And as we age more rapidly, the skin functions less optimally. So healing it's why we start to heal more slowly as we get older. And yeah, all the other things I've just mentioned, as well as being a pro-inflammatory. And I do think that inflammaging is also really an important thing that we are just starting to understand a bit more in its contribution. So, AGE formation seems to accelerate around the age of 35. So all of these things that we know, collagen breakdown starts more in our 20s, 25 onwards, and then AGEs and their impact on our aging process really becomes more visible around the age of about 35. And I certainly think that's something I've noticed in my own skin. I turned 40 about a month ago, and I've definitely noticed through my late 30s I've had to do more for my skin than I ever have before. I don't eat a particularly high sugar diet. I'm careful with sun exposure, but despite all of that, I've had to fight a little bit harder to keep my skin looking as I want it to. So, prejuvenation, there's lots we can do, but I'm a big believer that everything starts with what people are doing consistently at home. And the Daily Boosting Serum, which is the one that Olivia will introduce you to in a little bit more clinical detail, is a really great solution, which is easy to introduce into any skincare routine and helps not just with that cellular energy, but also to slow down the glycation. And of course, remembering your sun protection. So this is a publication, the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology, and one thing that is amazing is the standard of publications that Revision, but particularly this product, have had, with publications both in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology and in the Journal of Drugs in Dermatology. And this image, which we'll come into in a little bit more detail in a moment, made the front cover because it's really quite spectacular. And we have various studies which we're going to talk through: a mitochondrial study, an AGE study, then there's a 7-day clinical study. And I think it's something we're always, as clinicians, a little bit cautious about claiming such quick results. But again, I think you'll see you can have confidence. And then also a longer term study. So what this image is showing is on the left, on your left, is a slide showing fatigued skin. So what you can see is that the blue bits are the nuclei of the cells and the surrounding redness is ATP. Those cells were then soaked in the DEJ Daily Boosting Serum. They were incubated in it. And 30 minutes later, you can see how much more red surrounds each of those nuclei. And that is a significant increase in ATP. And ATP is the cell's energy currency. So you can see that those cells, after just 30 minutes sitting in that DEJ daily boosting serum, have significantly more energy. So, and this, again, this study is around the AGEs. And it's showing that it used keratinocytes, so skin keratinocytes, which were again incubated in the sunflower sprout extract for 24 hours and were then exposed to UVA. And that the ones incubated in the sunflower sprout extract had a 39% reduction in AGEs after 24 hours. So again, really massively significant. 7 days. So here, this is patient data, how they felt about having used a product consistently at 7 days. Now, I don't know about you, but when I speak to my patients and I put them on new skin routines, I talk about usually giving things at least one complete product cycle to judge a product's results. And that's because we all know that a skin cycle is at least 30 days. And so I've always had to tell my patients that to really get the measurable and visible results of a skincare product, yes, they have to invest in it, but they're going to have to be patient. And that can be a difficult journey because we all know our patients like to see something straight away. And with this, you can really see the results at a week. 83% of patients agreeing that their skin appeared more hydrated, that 3/4 of patients feeling that their skin looked more vibrant, and 75% again appearing more visibly plumped. So really significant patient satisfaction at 7 days. And you can see here, oh, sorry, this is me. Sorry, that's me. I've got the wrong data. That's at 15 minutes. Sorry, this is data at 15 minutes. Sorry, that's me screwing that one up. At a week, 100%. So complete patient satisfaction, which is something, I'll be honest, I have never seen in a patient satisfaction study, is 100% of patients agreeing that their skin looked measurably different at any time point, let alone at 7 days. And I think you can see on the photo here some really nice changes. So for me, and I can't walk over to show, but look at the upper eyelid. Look at the decrease in the fold, because this is a product that can be applied to the upper and lower eyelids. And you can see how much firmer and how much less lax that eyelid skin is. And also, if you particularly look at the forehead, one thing I always look at is light reflection. And can you just see how much brighter the skin looks across that central forehead area? And we all know that typically skin changes can be quite hard to photograph. So to achieve such noticeable results at only 7 days, it's actually very easy for our patients to see and believe in. And here, these are the two parameters which, so comparing, so the two comparison here, so there were two groups tested here. One was using just the DEJ daily boosting serum, but actually there's a whole DEJ capsule collection which focuses on the dermo-epidermal junction. And so the second group also incorporated the face cream. And you can see here that the face cream makes quite a significant difference when added to the tactile smoothness and also to the skin's radiance. And it's such a nice little collection to give to patients. It's focusing on the dermo-epidermal junction in it. There's a day cream, a night cream, now the daily boosting serum and an eye cream. And very, very easy to explain to patients how to use. They feel like they're taking a nice little capsule away. So this is showing some befores and afters of the two products together, again at 7 days. And you can really see, I think here, how visibly plumped the skin is. You can see the light reflection across all areas of the face is better. I also personally think you can see the face looks less heavy somehow. There's an increase in an improvement in the firmness of the skin for sure there. And again, the skin texture around the eyelids, and look at those fine lines on the forehead, are all significantly improved. So this is using, this is across a 12-week study period now, and it's comparing the daily boosting serum against a vehicle control. So this is a product which has none of the active in it. So. And you can see that across all parameters, we've got statistically very significant improvements in all measures when you compare the active against the vehicle control. And again, these are now our 12-week case studies. For me, what's so marked here is the improvement in the facial redness. I think that's so impressive because, again, it's something so many of our patients suffer with through the aging process. So common in women from their late 30s into their 40s onwards is to have that increased red undertone, the need to wear more makeup to hide it. So she looks obviously better overall. And again, for me, something that on this one I find really noticeable is, again, you can just appreciate that improvement in firmness, that yes, she still has downturned mouth corners. We've not done anything structural here, but there is a really tangible improvement in how the skin looks. And again, a really lovely one here for me. Most marked, again, look at that upper eyelid, such a difficult area. And again, where we're told most products, most topicals, we're told not to apply to our eyelids because it could cause irritation. And here we have a product that we can, and we encourage applying it to the upper and the lower eyelid. And again, you can see that improvement in that cluster of telangiectasia on the cheek there, how vastly improved that is. And I think, for me, her nasolabial fold looks far less heavy as well, which is quite impressive from a topical. So this is taken from a skin biopsy, and it shows this particular patient had a 74% increase in the elastin content of the skin, which I just think is remarkable. To achieve that sort of a level of an increase in elastin, you can just appreciate that denseness of the blue elastin filaments and how many more there are in the 12-week photo than in the baseline. And these were taken from skin biopsies. And again, showing this particular patient, collagen type 4, a 67% increase. So really vast and measurable. And that's in the brown staining. So I'm going to hand over to Olivia, who's going to talk you through the formulation, and then we're going to have some time for some Q's and A's and any questions you might have.
So a little bit about the formula, what's in it. Many people ask always about our formulas and the magic that happens, but with the Daily Boosting Serum, the sunflower sprout extract technology is not only exclusive, but it is also patented. So this particular technology contains what we call the 3 secondary metabolites. Within that are ATP, so adenosine triphosphate, acetyl L-carnitine, and omegas. So you might remember with the mitochondria, if we're trying to boost the energy, it requires ATP. So that's what's giving the engine the fuel to the cell. We also need to protect the cell itself, so the acetyl L-carnitine is helping to protect the cell itself as an antioxidant, but it's also helping to reduce the glycation. And lastly, omegas, we need to get those sources from either plants or animals, such as salmon or fish. So this is a great way to not only protect the epidermal barrier, but also to enhance the function of the DEJ. Now, that is not all that's in this product, but again, to require and remember, when you think of this product, it is helping to boost cellular energy and reduce cellular aging by reducing glycation, but it does always require to have more in this product. With all revision skincare products, we do look at multiple pathways. So what you see here in this next ingredient list, I won't go through all of them in great detail, but we have several blends. An antioxidant blend, which also includes THC ascorbate, has resveratrol, and loads of other types of ingredients all mixed together to help further protect the skin. We also have a postbiotic blend that is enhancing the skin's ability to boost energy, balance the skin, but also help to protect it from the environment. A hydrating blend, and also the Iris florentina root extract, which is also helping to further ignite the skin with further anti-aging benefits for the DEJ. Igniting those proteins, as Dr. Schauder has shared, when we're aging, we're losing those proteins and the ability to create more. So we're helping to infuse the skin with even further benefits for those anti-aging properties. So how to use this, you would just shake the product. You would use 1 to 2 pumps. So I would personally using it, I use 1 pump in the morning, 1 pump at night. This should last a patient about 2.5 months. And you use this before any other product. This truly could be a product that can be infused into any regimen. So I'll talk further about the ideal patient. But this would be the first foundational product you would use before any other treatment product, all over the face, including the eyelid. And it is non-comedogenic. It's been dermatology tested, and it has also been shown clinically to not irritate the eyes, which, again, is very key because we know that it could be a very sensitive area. So this is the complete franchise of the DEJ products. As Dr. Schauder shared, we have many key items. So anytime you see a product from the Revision Skincare line that says DEJ, just know that that is focusing on the dermal epidermal junction. They are focusing on different areas, so we're not repeating the same function. We're actually adding to the benefits, but we're supporting that particular area of the skin and then some. So you can see there at the very primary stage from left to right, the serum, the eye cream, which is a 360-degree approach to eye care, helping to lift the eyelid for eyelid hooding and droopiness, and is clinically proven for as little as 4 weeks. The moisturizer, and then the moisturizer with the retinol and bakuchiol treatments for nighttime. Before we go into Q&A, we wanted to share a little bit of some of our testimonies and just some of our own benefits. So do you want to go first?
So I have been very lucky. I've been using it for 4.5 months now, and I genuinely have fallen in love with it. I've been lucky. I've always had good skin. But this is one where I've noticed a tangible difference in my own skin. And probably the most obvious example I can give you of that was that I had a course of nanofractional radiofrequency done in the lead up to Christmas. So I had 3 treatments which were done a month apart. The first one was done before I started using the daily boosting serum. And I had about 5 days where my skin looked and felt really quite sandpapery. And I was using exfoliants from the time my sensitivity was okay to try and manage that, get it down as quickly as I could. The second treatment, I've actually had no downtime. The second day I was like, okay, my skin looks and feels normal. And again, the same on the third treatment. And the only thing I had changed, the only explanation I have is that the thing I'd introduced in between was the daily boosting serum. And to me, that makes complete sense because actually, a cell that has more energy, a skin that has more energetic cells is going to heal more rapidly. So I decreased my procedure downtime. And that for me is something that then when I've been able to start talking to patients about it, because again, that was difficult for me. I wanted to sing from the rooftops and couldn't yet, is something I've really been able to say, this is something you can apply to skin very quickly post-procedure, pre-procedure to prepare your skin. And I'm confident that I can minimize my patient's downtime by doing it, which for me is gold.
And while Revision Skincare hasn't done a procedure pairing study, I'll say yet, because it's unknown if we will or in the works, so I'll leave that as that for now. Again, anecdotally, I actually had a chemical peel, a mid-level peel, on Thursday last week, so almost a week ago. I hopped on a flight to get here to the UK the very next day on a Friday. So being from Texas, that's about a 9-hour flight. I did not have a single peel day, meaning my skin never peeled. I was expecting it to. And again, to what Dr. Schauder just shared, the expectation to wait for that peel period was coming, right? I was waiting third day, second day, something in the works. My only way to think about this is that my skin was well prepared for the peel, and then keeping the skin pretty hydrated post-peel. I do believe it was the daily boosting serum that was helping to keep the skin properly hydrated, very much in balance. And again, even to today, I haven't had one day of dryness, no redness, no irritation, no downtime from the chemical peel itself. So anecdotally, that is something that we're starting to hear more and more as accounts that have already brought it in. We're hearing that. So again, we'd love to hear your own time. So we will open it to questions and answers, but we do have something for you before you leave. That's about a 7-day challenge. So it's roughly about our experiences that you might be able to have your experience with the product we have for you at our booth. But with that, we'd like to open it up for questions that you may have for us. So.
And I do think these innovative topicals, it's an exciting time because, as I said, what we're really starting to do is have topicals that are focusing on what's really causing, rather than fixing what we see. It's actually working to correct what's causing that in the first place, these 9 hallmarks of aging. And so I do really encourage you to go and look at that paper because it's a really interesting one, and we're seeing more and more innovative research in this space. So yeah, there was one question here. Revision is available to clinic accounts through AestheticSource. Patients can purchase directly as well, I think, but that's not my area of specialty. Patients can purchase directly as well. But it really is arranged that for me fits beautifully into clinic. We stock a huge amount of Revision products. My personal bathroom shelf is largely made up of Revision at the moment, so definitely one for you to have a look at for your clinic. But the AestheticSource stand is at the front when you come up the stairs, and go and have a chat to them. Yeah.
There's a question in the back, I think.
Oh yeah, perfect.
How long before you resume this products before, or let's say if you have undergone a laser procedure or like Thermage, Ulthera, or some kind of chemical peel?
So personally, I felt very comfortable to put this on my skin that night after a procedure. What I'm not talking about here is aggressive resurfacing, laser or peeling, which may need, or those kind of very aggressive RF needling treatments. Those slightly different. I would always say follow post-procedure advice, but something that's a little bit more superficial. There's nothing sensitizing in this, and I've been very comfortable recommending it for use straight away.
Yes, and with all Revision skincare products, we would say if it's something invasive and the skin is not reepithelialized, to wait until the skin has healed. So again, to non-invasive, if you feel comfortable based on that procedure that it's superficial, you can apply directly after.
So
that way
it's
you can
safer
gauge.
to use it after a procedure, right? After how many hours?
What sort of procedure are you doing? What sort of
Let's say
procedure?
laser treatment and chemical peel?
So I did a chemical peel on Thursday, mid-level. I waited a day based on that. My skin was not broken, so I could have done it right after. I just waited. And again, that was just my own choice. So I think you have to gauge it from an expert perspective. Is the skin compromised and really inflamed and red? Maybe you tell them a day after. That would be coming from you as an expert. But if the skin is broken, certainly wait until it's completely healed, reepithelialized, and then they can proceed with products topically. Because we have not done any clinicals with it on open, broken skin.
No, and that's those sorts of more aggressive treatments. It's always best to just use the products that are recommended for immediately post-procedure.
Great question.
I was just going to ask you about the, just products to put on top of the skin, so like your vitamin C's, or if you're using your retinols or your trets.
So this is the first thing you put on your skin. So cleanse, and then apply this first, and then layer the other things afterwards.
Yep.
And with Revision, again, one of the things I love, I do like to take time over my skincare routine, but there are times where I'm home late and I'm in a hurry, or I'm rushing to get out of the door in the morning, and you can cocktail the Revision products, and that's something that's totally unique. But you can put a pump of different products in your hand, mix them and apply them, and the efficacy isn't compromised. And to date, this is the only company I know that has done any research into that, because let's face it, nowadays so many of us are time poor.
So I wanted to share with you, this particular before and after is of one of our BDMs provided the boosting serum to a family member and took the time to utilize this day and night. So again, cleanse the skin, utilize the serum. And if you can see here, again, baseline, before and then after in the 7 days. Actually, this is 6 days. It wasn't even full 7, it was 6 days. And you can really see a difference. And perhaps the lighting might be a little off, but we have this picture even at the booth so you can see. It's astounding. We've showed this even to physicians, and the feedback when we ask how long do you think it takes to get these results? The furthest we got was like 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 8 weeks, and in 6 days, it's really outstanding to see this kind of a benefit.
And those elastotic lines across the lower cheek, they're so difficult to treat. And again, yes, lighting does change things, but that's such a measurable improvement.
Yeah. So this is why we're talking about that 7-day challenge. When you come down and you receive one, there are some things we would love to share with you before and afters and so forth. But we do believe that you will see the difference for yourself as well. I think we're just right out of time, so you can do it on next as well. We'd love to continue the conversation since we're out of time, but thank you so much for joining us today.